So I'm leaving this comment up here by 720 Visions because they're puppets, and I can say sorry what Gizzy or your name that I might be hurting your feelings by telling the truth, because nobody with an intelligent mind would see this video and say, "Oh, he wasn't rude, and he wasn't rude at all, and she didn't answer." I didn't answer like he wanted me to answer because he needed me to answer a certain way. He has a certain playbook, and when I was outside of the playbook, that bothered him. So that's why he mutes me. So let's see if I didn't answer his question.
I ain't scared of you motherfuckers.
When you're looking for the truth, all you gotta do is watch 717 all lies get exposed. My God, this how we live it. 717 I ain't looking to the sky for answers. All bras get exposed. Shutting down answers. 717 anybody can get it. You say you did it, better prove it. Source up or shut up. Like side, better do it at 717.
Why do God need colored windows to talk to me? Why God can't come where I'm at, where he sent me? If God wanted to talk to me in a pretty spot like that, why the hell he sent me here then? You know what I mean? That make ghetto kids not believe in God. Why?
Right.
Okay, I'm done with this conversation. I didn't want to have this conversation.
All right. Now, off titty. Matt told this atheist caller, hey, listen, I'm done with this conversation. We ain't about to talk about this no more. He indulged him with the veganism stuff. They didn't get nowhere, you know. So it wasn't even what he was trying to do that day, but he indulged him in it. So he kept on repeating himself. So he like, hey, we ain't doing this no further, no more today. It's over.
To begin with. It has nothing to do with the Sunday show. It has nothing to do with religion. But now you're just repeating yourself. After we've asked you questions, you're just reasserting your position.
Now, where we see that at? Reasserting himself with the same thing over and over and over. Napah. Napah.
I don't care. This is going to be annoying.
Now, she made it like because she was calling in and it said a theist caller, oh, this is going to be annoying. She made it like it was about that. No, it wasn't. He just told this atheist caller that he's not about to talk about the veganism stuff. It has nothing to do with the religion or what they got planned for that Sunday. But yet, here she is, she's calling in. And of course, he's being told, and he can see that it says theist caller wanting to talk about veganism. Both of them can see what she's calling in about.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So is it Napah who's calling from Arizona?
Yes, it is. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, it says here you're a theist, but you're wanting to talk about veganism?
Now, he just told this guy that he don't want to talk about the veganism and it's not what the show is about. She had to been listening. She was just listening to him talk to the guy and said, hey, I'm done with this. It's not what the show is about today. We're going to move along. But like she do, she just going to try to do what she wants to do.
No, I'm actually.
No. He asked her, was she a theist? Was she... but it says that she wants to talk about veganism. She says, no. Then turn around and makes a complete fool out of herself right off the bat.
I was listening to a conversation you were having with I believe that was a vegan, correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I wanted to just weigh in about
Durante, he can't keep the smile down. He see it coming.
the whole controversy, I would call it, between the debate between vegans and people who eat meat.
Hold it. She said that's not what she wanted to talk about. She said no. Then turn right around and say, hey, she want to weigh in on it. There's something wrong with her.
When we're
No,
talking about death.
no. Are you a theist? And are you calling in to discuss anything related to theism? We're not doing veganism.
I'm a theist, yes.
Cool. Do you have any interest in explaining what your God does and how you know?
Hold it. He said, do you have any interest in explaining what your God does and how do you know? Does, like verb, what your God does and how do you know? Not what you believe or a concept or nothing. What your God does and how do you know?
Sure.
Cool. Let's do that because we're not going into veganism any further than we did already.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So
I
what
did
does your God
questions.
do and how do you know?
Number one. So what do your God do and how do you know? Keep in mind, what did your God do and how did you know? She never answers this question at all. We're going to see though.
Everyone has a conceptualization of God. It's an individual conceptualization.
I'm
So
sorry.
my
I'm
conceptualization.
sorry. I just want to make sure we're doing this and not spinning our wheels.
Right.
I don't need to know whether or not everybody has a conception of God because
No. He's getting ready to speak about these people. The Paraha. She said that he was wrong and he lied, blah, blah, blah. No, he's completely right. He's completely right. He want to say that, oh, they don't have a Western concept of God or whatever. No, they don't have a concept of God. The pariah have no concept of a supreme spirit or God. However, they do believe in spirits that can sometimes take on the shape of things in the environment.
you're wrong. That is simply not a fact. Not everybody has a God concept. As a matter of fact, some people have considered many different concepts and rejected all of the ones that have been presented. And then there are groups of people like the Paraha, whose entire civilization has no God concept at all. But I don't care whether or not everybody had a God concept or not. My thing is, you're a theist. You said you would tell us what God does and how you know. And that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah, he done flat out told her, I don't care about your belief, your concepts, none of that. I want to know, what do your God do and how do you know? Now, he done told her exactly what he want her to give him. It don't matter how you give it to him, but he wants to know, what does your God do and how do you know? Look what she do.
Okay, as I was about to speak when you gave me the mic, and I appreciate you letting me on, I will.
Okay, I'm going to mute you for just a second
Wow.
because
Now, he was trying to be generous. This is number 2 now.
there are other callers on hold and there are people watching. If you think it was rude of me to redirect you to the fucking question that I asked you, that
Now, mind you, she knows exactly what Matter's about. She knows exactly what he about, how he talk to people. It ain't just her. It ain't just women. It's women, men, atheists, theists. I mean, atheist calls in and he says, which God? What God? when they say, "Oh, I can prove that God don't exist or God exists," which God? How? Okay, prove it.
You weren't answering. I'm sorry. But we have this time to try to figure out, is there good reason to believe that there's a God doing?
She's so used to nobody challenging her and putting her up on this pedestal that she can't see the forest for the trees. But he gonna give it to her raw.
Something or not? When I take you off mute,
When I take you off mute, this is what I'm gonna do and what I expect from you.
all I need you to do is say, oh, I think God does this and here's why. I don't need you to whine about, well, you gave me the mic and then interrupted me. I've got a
I mean, he's being truthful with her. Like, shit, I didn't ask you about that. Not at all.
show here to do. And if I let people wander, everybody suffers. My apologies.
Yep.
This is not just a chat.
Now, you do that on your show, Napah. You try to stick to a certain subject and try not to go off into other things or whatever. All he doing is doing his job that he's been doing for many of years.
That's why I asked you if you were willing to do this. And so let's try it again. Napah's calling from Arizona. Napah's a theist who said that she's willing to talk about what God does and how she knows it. Napah, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. As I said, thank you for letting me on to add my concept of God, my particular concept, my
Mind you. He like, man, all right, I'm gonna give it a benefit of the doubt, even though I didn't ask you for your concept or believe for any of that. But he gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. So like I said, she always trying to, I don't want to say throw her weight around, but it's like her world and nobody else is. She's lost, man.
personal concept. And my concept of the God that I serve is that this God is omniscient, omnipotent, and balanced. Is that concise enough for you?
That's that passive aggressiveness shit that she always doing. Is that precise for you? You know, she tries to throw little kicks and punches in there.
Omniscient, omnipotent, and what?
Balanced.
Hmm?
Balanced?
Yeah, the word that talks about two sides working out and not being lopsided, asymmetrical, balanced.
Can I
By
ask, how could
omniscient,
something be all powerful and balanced?
Question.
How can something be all powerful and balanced?
Yeah, isn't if something is all powerful, isn't it all the power on one side?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be the definition
No.
of not balanced?
Not necessarily. It could be governing over the balance.
Could be governing over the balance. Then wouldn't it still be all powerful on one side and not the other because it's actually governing over? See, she's so smart, she dumb.
okay. So what does this God that you believe, because I didn't ask what your God concept was, but thanks. What does this God do and how do you know?
Well, you asked me belief. Belief.
Hold it. She said, well, you asked me belief. He never did. He just go, she just gonna put that in his mouth. He never asked that. Not at all. Leave it to her, he did.
Just concept.
No,
Oh,
Napah,
no.
what I asked you is, are you willing to tell us what your God does and how you know? That's what I asked you. I didn't
Mhm.
say, are you willing to define your God concept? I'm happy that you did. There's a number of potential issues with it.
This shit is
But
crazy.
we need to get back to the question at hand, which is, what does your God do, and how do you know?
Was she drunk or something?
My God does all. My God is all knowing, all powerful, and all present, omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent.
She don't used to throwing this at motherfuckers that really don't know how to come back at her, man. And it almost makes her sound like she knows something, but I'm with Matt. Oh, she made a complete ass of herself.
And my God is balanced. That is my belief, which is my conceptualization of God.
Okay.
It's my own
I'm
personal
I'm
conceptualization.
desperately someday you'll figure out that I'm trying to do you a favor, because
Mm-hmm.
all I'm asking is, what does your God do? When you say
This
your
has been
God
3
does all,
times.
did your God poop in my toilet today?
In essence, yes.
Oh,
Wow.
Did your God slaughter innocent people?
In essence, yes.
Okay. How do you know that your God has ever done anything?
Again, I told you. You asked me to be
No,
concise.
stop. I'm asking you,
Now, he breaks it down so clear for her so many times. I'm convinced she is really fucked up in the head.
how you aren't aware that your God has done something. I'm not asking you to just restate your fucking belief again. I'm asking, how is it that you are aware of this? I've asked it now 3 or 4 times. How are you aware that your God does anything?
She went and did a show that made me want to do this show for real. She called people puppets or whatever. I said she didn't answer him at all. So she wanted to throw my comment up there and say she gonna leave it up there. We puppets, this, that, and the other. So I figure I might as well show how much of a fool she made herself, and everybody that was on that panel that said she answered his questions and this, that, and the other, and blah, blah, blah. They gaslit her ass. They kissed her ass. They should have been telling her she wrong. She never did. But yet, those were her puppets. That was her flock that she was leading to straight slaughter. Straight slaughter. And this just shows it.
The answer is, to be concise, it's because it took place and it exists and it happened.
Okay. You have a completely ridiculous, irrational, and useless God concept, and
That's
we'll be
your
moving
opinion.
on.
Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
your
not just an
opinion.
opinion. It's not just
Yeah,
an
it is,
opinion.
and you're vulgar,
No, it's
and I just stunned you.
and you,
no, it's not.
there it is.
It's not
There it
just my
is.
opinion. I can actually back it up. I can actually back up my position. See, because when we say, how are you aware of something? There's a number of different models that structure how we become aware of something. When I say, what does your God do? And you say, my God does all. That is an absolutely useless thing. So is the notion of omnipotence and omniscience. Those things, by the way, are potentially in contradiction with themselves and irrational.
Yep.
But when we're asking, how are you aware that your God does anything? Let me make it this way. Napah, is there anything that happens that isn't
So-
something that your God did?
Let me understand something. Are you a bully that just
Okay. I'm going to mute
Oh.
you again. I'm
Again.
very sorry that your fragile little feelings are hurt, but
Oh.
we're adults here, and this is my job, and I'm a professional. And I'm asking you questions and giving you an opportunity to demonstrate what you believe, to demonstrate that there is a justification for the ridiculous claim that God does all, including slaughtering innocent people, in essence, and pooping in my toilet, in essence.
It's a
You
busy
are
God.
either a troll or a buffoon. Why would you not take this opportunity?
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
If you just called in for an opportunity to try to, oh, I'm just going to complain about Matt. Okay, cool. Join the crowd.
Now, he's used to it. And you know how he is. He used to it. He don't give a damn what you think. He just giving it to you raw.
But the thing is, I'm sitting here giving you a microphone and an audience where you can explain to us all how it is that, how and why you are convinced that there's a God that does anything. And you are fucking wasting it. You're wasting it by whining about me or anything else. You have offered not a single cogent thought. You have offered, this is my belief. This is what I think. I don't give a shit. I want to know why you believe it and why should we believe it. I don't know why this is so difficult for you, Napah. Let's try again. I'm going to be as magnanimous as I can be. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Napah back. Napah is now going to explain how each of us can be aware that there is a God that is omnipotent, omniscient, and does things. Napah, try again.
Okay. Are you going to mute me when I start saying things you don't like?
Okay. I'm going to mute you right now because you're a preschooler that doesn't know how to have an adult conversation.
Get crazy.
Yep.
And now you're going to sit there and wait so that when I bring you back on, you can whine again. I already told you, stop whining. Just get to it. You are embarrassing yourself to the entirety of the internet. I can't.
No, they got her believing that she wasn't whining. The hell she called that?
Keep giving you opportunities. And instead of using those opportunities to defend your position, you instead want to whine that I keep interrupting you for failing to make any attempt to defend your proposition. So this is your last chance. I'm going to unmute you again. And when I do, don't whine. Don't ask if I'm going to mute you. Don't, just tell us how we can.
He tells her once again, don't do this, don't do that. And what the fucks do she do?
Know that God is real, that God does something. I'm begging
Make
you.
your God proud.
And if you do anything else, it will be a failure and it will be a clip that lives forever. With you doing nothing but whining when given an opportunity to defend your belief. So let's try this again. I'm going to unmute Napah. Napah, how can we be aware that God does things?
As I tried to impart myself before, I got muted several times.
Impart
now. Okay.
Guess who's muted again?
Oh,
Napah?
shit.
As I tried to impart myself.
Again.
I'm sorry. Why don't you go look up impart and call me back?
No. With that being said, oh, they said she used it right and everything. I mean, they got her believing she the shit. Like she just got it all right and he all wrong. Actually, he right and she wrong. You understand? Now, the crazy part, Black Sage, he say she was right, but I don't believe nothing he say anyway. So that's neither here nor there. But she definitely had it wrong, and I'll show you a little later.
Goodbye.
Oh man, I feel like every time we went back to her, she started the same way as I was saying, and it's like, oh, this is wild. It's not even a conversation.
I don't get it. I mean, either that person is not serious.
Fact,
I'm not interested in you telling me about yourself.
Look at this. Look at this.
I sometimes
I'm gonna just leave it up there for you to read. And why it's incorrect.
Which is why when the atheist called in earlier to say that he can prove there is no God, the first thing I wanted to ask is, what God are you talking about?
Yes.
That's important.
Absolutely.
I get it. It's not fair. There's two of us and we're professionals and there's one of you and you're clueless.
Shit crazy.
That's not fair. But you're not going to rile me up any more than I am normally. I genuinely don't understand how people can say, oh, hey, there's a show where people call in and they can say, hey, here's the God I believe in and here's why. And then they call in and say, oh, I want to talk about veganism. I'm not talking about that anymore today. Are you willing to do this? If that caller had
He
said, no,
breaking
I
it
don't have
all
any
the way
interest in
down
actually
for him.
demonstrating the reason behind my belief, I would have said, thank you so much for calling. Maybe call into one of the many other shows here on the Line Network. And maybe call in when veganism is the actual topic. I understand that you
Right.
heard me talking to a caller about it, but that caller sprung it on afterwards. It has nothing to do with the Sunday show. And that caller who is a vegan and everything else, we could have a great conversation. And that conversation, by the way, went well because we recognized the difference between moral obligations and duties. I asked them repeatedly to make the case for why it's an obligation, and they could get no further than their opinion. Okay. When I say that someone is being irrational, that's not an opinion. That is an assessment of the quality of their argument. Is their argument valid and sound? Are they engaging in a rational discourse? Those aren't opinions. Those are facts. Syllogisms, whether they are valid, is a question of fact. And whether or not they are sound is based on whether the premises are true, which is also a question of fact. Even if one of the premises is an opinion. For example, it may be Durrante's opinion that I'm the dumbest sumbitch on the planet. Could be. And if he puts it in a premise that premise one, it's my opinion that Matt is the dumbest sumbitch on the planet, then that is still a statement of fact. It is his opinion, but whether it's actually his opinion is a question of fact. And whether or not his opinion is accurate is a question of fact.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that your God is omnipotent, omniscient, and balanced, Durrante rightly questioned, how can something be omnipotent and balanced? I mean, it's both. I appreciate the fact that this person's view of God is different from a number of other theologies, because by saying it's not omniscient, omnipotent, and omnibenevolent, because omnibenevolence would definitely be in conflict with balanced.
Yes.
And so they're saying this God knows everything and can do everything and is both completely good and completely evil, or completely neither, just completely amoral. That's balanced. And that's fine. If you believe in a balanced, amoral being that slaughters innocents in essence and makes babies coo in essence and causes physics to work the way it does in essence and causes our emotions to work the way they do in essence, that's fine. How do you know any of that is true? I wanted to know, what does your God do? My God does everything. Cool. That's a useless proposition. Something that is a solution to everything is a solution to nothing. You cannot solve a mystery by appealing to a bigger mystery. If there is nothing that is not your God, then your God is everything and is therefore useless.
Yes.
Does your God have desires for us? These are questions we could have got to if you weren't just whiny as fuck. What does your God do? How can we know that your God does stuff? Does your God have desires or expectations that we need to know about? That would be important. If there's a being, are we going to be judged by your God? There are so many questions that we could have gone into. You think there's a God, he does everything. How do you know? Well, as I was about to impart myself, okay. There are so many great questions we can ask about even these nonsensical gods. And some of them help people realize that they are actively defending an incoherent proposition. And the rest of those questions may help other people not fall into that particular trap. I don't know how many times I can give someone an opportunity to stop whining about how they were so rudely interrupted for not doing the thing they said they'd do in the first place and just get to it. Here's the thing. You want to talk about integrity? Do what you say you're going to do. And if you're unable to do what you say you're going to do, acknowledge that. Because acknowledging that you are unable to do what you say you're going to do goes a lot further than repeatedly spewing the same nonsense that is insufficient. If I ask you, is it raining outside and how do you know? And you say, oh, it's definitely raining outside. My psychic told me. I'm going to then say, what's the psychic? Is your psychic standing outside? And is it just coincidence that you think they're a psychic? What is it about the psychic? No. It's always raining outside. Well, I know that that's not true. This sort of modern woo sophistry.
Yeah.
Oh, omnipotent and omniscient and balanced. It's a balanced God. I'm not like those stupid Christians that believe in a good God and an evil being trying to do. I'm not like all the. I'm far superior to those. I have risen to a new plane of existence where there is a God that does all. And yes, he in essence slaughters innocents. Okay, whether you think your God slaughters innocents or protects them from being slaughtered or does both, how do you know that there's a God doing that? Oh, I know because it happens. See, if you stick that in a syllogism, Napah, if you put that in a syllogism, you will find that it is circular, that you are using your conclusion and just reasserting that you're putting the conclusion in the premise. Because now your argument has become, if X happens, God did it. X happened, therefore God did it. We're asking you, how do you know premise one is true? And you're saying, I know it's true because it happened. No, that's a restatement of the same thing. For those of you who are interested in stuff like this, I think it's a great time to remind everybody that this coming Saturday will be the LineCon Online, featuring Q&A with Owen Morgan and Dr. Aaron Adair. Those two will be on the Sunday show tonight. That's at 7 p.m. right back here on this network. And I will be the third presenter. Napah, I would love to give you a free pass, but you've already demonstrated that you're not ready.